emotion work, shadow work, body work. For this moment, for this video, we're going to assume they are all the same thing. This is a practice to do in real time. This isn't informational. So there's no need to collect information or listen with your mind or your intellect. The only value here is to do this along with me. Feel into what I'm saying. Look where I'm pointing. Open to the spaces that you discover in yourself in real time. That's where the benefit is. And you may notice the benefit immediately, or there may be a delayed effect, or you may not notice it at all. But there is a benefit. It does have an effect. There's a cumulative effect if you do this continuously, or at least periodically, ongoing. So we start by noticing the body, not the idea of the body, not looking at our body like looking at our hands or our legs or our face in a mirror, but noticing how it feels to inhabit a body right now. That's it. Just notice it. Notice the space of being the body or in a body. Notice the space of feeling or the energy field of the body. These all mean the same thing. Don't get tangled up in the mind with definitions or approaches or previous practices. You're at risk if you've done a lot of previous practices around the body, meaning you're at risk for comparing this to your own experiences or your own approaches or techniques. So just let those thoughts go. Just feel directly. Feel directly without comment. Feel directly without noting anything. Feel directly without recording the process. Feel directly without having to titrate your attention. Just feel directly. And stop with that. You might notice a sort of dull sensation in the vicinity of the entire body. Or you may notice some specific space in the body that's particularly tight or warm or even restless. However it appears for you is fine. Don't note this. Don't judge yourself or ask yourself, is this right? Just feel it. Just go right to it. Let the sensations be primary. Let the feeling be primary, not secondary to the mind, not secondary to attention. So the sensation field is primary. The sensing is primary. Let that be all there is for a moment. Can you let that be all there is for a moment? Can you let that be the entire universe for a moment? Clear those doubts. Notice the doubts. Set them aside and feel the entire universe for one moment. As the body. Just the body, just the sense. Just the sensation field without any concept of body. You may notice the movement of breath, the movement of breathing. You may notice some part of this feels like you, like the face, chest, some space behind the eyes. If that's the case, that's perfectly okay. Let's just feel it, even without the thought that says me or I. What is this sensation? What is this like without an idea of the self? self as a body, self as a mind, self as awareness. What if we just sort of set those ideas aside for a moment, even if they're hard-won realizations, and just feel what it is to know sensation directly right now as the entirety. Could feel like in the vicinity of what you might call a body, could feel like a space beyond that, could feel vast, formless, but the feel is important. Just the feel. What is it to feel without an agenda? This means, what is it to feel without hoping it finally makes you feel better? What is it to feel without hoping this is finally going to cause a shift? What is it to feel without trying to transcend anything? What is it to feel without trying to heal anything? That's feeling without agenda. So just stay with the feeling. Now, I'm going to say a few things, but I don't want you to think about these. They're just subtle pointers or possibly adjustments. The first one is, you already have the capacity to feel the entirety of this experience. You already have the bandwidth to feel the entirety of this experience. So if there's a subtle thought hanging back there somewhere that says, I can't do this, this is too much, I don't know how to do this, I've never known how to do this, we can set that aside, because I promise you, you can do this. You have the bandwidth already. It's just that those sneaky little thoughts can pull you away. But when you're here, when you're with this, just the sensation, you do have the capacity. Only the limited identity that believes it doesn't have that capacity can feel contracted, can feel apart, can feel separate, can feel suffering. It thinks it knows a lot about capacity, but it doesn't know anything about capacity, actually. The sensation field is vast, infinite, beyond limit, no center or edge. This is known only through direct contact. And it's maintained without any effort on our part. It's already that way, always, outside of time. So it's not a matter of maintaining. Nothing needs to cause it. It's not the effect of anything. It simply is. So you already have the bandwidth for this. You already have the capacity. You don't have to learn it. Don't let anyone convince you have to learn to have the capacity to feel everything that's here. All you really have to do is unlearn the doubt. That's it. So that's the first pointer or the first adjustment. The second adjustment is, if you notice the mind creating a body map, like a visual image or a spatial image of the chest or the head or face, such that you're not actually seeing it with your eyes, you're imagining seeing it with your mind. If you notice this, it's okay, but it's a thought. Set it aside. And then ask yourself again, what is this without the body map image? How is this without the body map image? And just settle back in. Let it overtake. Let it be all there is. And the third adjustment is simply this. Don't make distance. Don't push or pull. Don't move toward or away from. This is a subtler adjustment or a subtler attunement, but it can be recognized as a very powerful attunement once you've learned to set aside some of that more gross thought, the more structured thought. You'll notice that there's this subtle tendency to jockey for position with our experiences. Move toward, move away from, push, pull, etc., etc. So in this case, we just notice we don't have to do that. When there's just the sensation that we call the body field or the energy field or the aliveness, then it's very easy to not push or pull, make distance, not put it here or there, not put yourself here or there in reference to it. It's actually easy to do that. It's not easy to do that with thought, because the moment you start pushing or pulling on thought, thought starts pushing and pulling on you. So this attunement is not only a subtle dialing in, but it's also a bit of a litmus test, because if you're in the mind, then this won't work. If you're with the sensation fully, then it'll be very obvious that this is already the case. There is no pushing and pulling, no beginning, no end, no birth, no death. Follow this guidepost or this series of guideposts into this experience and stay there. Sit with this for as long as you want. It works magic, but you have to trust it. And you have to return to it. Take some time.